Hi everyone, today's tutorial will be about how to configure a DHCP server on Windows 2008. Uh, First of all, you need to be sure that your server have a static IP address. This is the most easiest way, in the case of troubleshooting or to identify your system on the network. So first we'll start by clicking on Start Run, and cpa.cpl is a shortcut to access to network connection. Here right click and properties. It's better to disable the IPv6 and work only with IPv4. As you can see, no IP address has been assigned, so it has taken automatically. And since we don't have any DHCP server on the network, you will select the default IP pair range address. As we can check IP config. Here you can see the IP address of the system is 169.254.162.98. So it is the default address assigned by the computer. Then we'll start by adding our own IP address. So we'll select a private class A IP address in the range 10.0.0.1 default subnet mask, and we'll assume that we don't require any internet connection or any connection to a web server, so we don't require a gateway and the DNS server. Here, that's all for the IP address. So our IP address now for the local machine will be in the 10 dot range. So now we'll go to configure now. You have to click to access to the server manager, to click to the lower left button near to star button, server manager, and here as you can see the local area connection IP is in 10 dot range in workgroup here. So we start by accessing the role panel on left, in the left column. As you can see, 0 out of 16 roles is installed. So now we'll install the DHCP role. We'll do it by clicking on add roles here. You click on it. Before you begin, this give a little description of what to do, what is the purpose of this one. You click on next. Here you'll have many options. Which role you need, you just select it, and in our case we need only the DHCP server, so we'll just select the DHCP server here by ticking on the option box here. So that's it. So we just click on next now to start configuring. Next. Here since we have only one NIC card and one IP address configured for our local machine, we'll have only this option. I mean, the default option is already been ticked, so nothing to do here. But in the case you have many NIC card and IP address also, you'll have more option here. Click on next. We are not in a domain network, so no need to configure anything here. So the DNS server or IPv4 server, yeah, we don't require also, since we don't need any name to resolve. Next, WINS is not required for the application of on this network, so we have to let the default choice. Next, here, add or select scope here. So this is the most important step on this configuration. So here you can directly create the scope, which is the block of IP that the client which will be assigned to the client. So it will define a range of IP that will be assigned to the client who requests an IP. So here the scope name, here you just click on add. Here you enter the scope name, any name. We'll choose SE1. The starting IP address will take the same range, 10.0.0.10. The end IP 10.0.0.20. The subnet mask will take as the default class A subnet mask. As you can see, the default gateway is optional, so we can take any of. So we don't want to access to the internet, so we don't need a default gateway. Just click on OK, and by default is activated. As you can see here, activate the scope. It has been activated by default. So you just take the default option, press on next. Since we are not using a DHCP 6, so you let that as it is, because the stateless mode for this server, the IPv6 client will be automatically configured without using this DHCP server, so it's better. Next, same thing here. Also, we are not in domain network, so we don't need to configure anything here. And then that's all. You click on install, it will install it. Okay, now as you can see, the installation is over, and you can see now installation succeeded here. So that's all. Now our server is configured. Now you can click on close and close this button. So what to do now? We just need to go to the client side now, since our server side is configured. So we'll assume that we'll have two clients, one from one of Red Hat 6 PC and one Windows 7 PC. So let's go to the Windows 7 here. So what to do? We'll just check from the command prompt, cmd. Here you can see IP config. As you can see, the IP now has changed to 10.0.0.10 to 255.0.0.0. So that's the scope that we have assigned to the client. So we'll go to the other one, Linux. Here, opening terminal. As you can see, you can just check the IP address, ifconfig. Here, as you can see here, inet addr means IPv4 address, IP address, which is here 10.0.0.11. So we'll just go by incrementing at every time one client is allowed to access to the network through the DHCP server. It will just increment the IP till you reach the end of the scope. Okay, hope you enjoy and learn. Have a good day. Thanks.